So good afternoon, good morning, and good afternoon. This is another question we have. We have to show that this function fx is equal to modulus of 1 minus x plus modulus x whole modulus is everywhere continuous. So whenever this type of function comes, what we do first, we redefine this function. Here it is modulus x visible. As modulus x visible, so I should say x is less than 0, x is greater than or equal to 0. So two cases are there. First case will come modulus. I'll open this modulus only first because this I have idea it is positive or negative. 1 minus x and that its side is negative, so it will come minus of x. And second part it will be 1 minus x, as it is positive, so it will be plus of x. Then we write this as modulus of 1 minus 2x, x less than 0, and this will be 1, x greater than or equal to 0. So in this case, it is the first result. As x is negative means this will become positive here now, and when it will become positive, so we should say this will left only, this will be x negative. So x negative means this will be negative, but this is already 1 minus, so it will become plus. So that means this quantity whole come out to be a plus quantity, so we will say modulus will be left only 1 minus 2x, because inside quantity is plus, and this is for x less than 0, 1 when x is greater than or equal to 0. So this way we have our function defined now. Then I'll take x less than 0, it is polynomial, this is constant. So we say since polynomial function and constant function are continuous everywhere, so fx is continuous for x greater than 0 and x less than 0. But it changed its value at 0. But fx change its value at x is equal to 0. So we check the continuity at x is equal to 0. So at 0 when I check the continuity, so we check the continuity at x is equal to 0. Then simple left hand limit, then it will be limit h approaches to 0, f of 0 minus h, that is less than 0, so it will come out to be limit h approaches to 0, it is coming 1 minus 2 times 0 minus h. Then when you solve it, it will come limit h approaches to 0, 1 plus 2h, it is coming 1. Same way when we go for right hand limit, so limit h approaches to 0, f of 0 plus h, then we should have limit h approaches to 0, 0 plus h, it will be only 1, so it is coming 1. And same way when we go for f0 when I take, it is again 1. So what you should say now, it is continuous at 0 also. So we got left hand limit equal to right hand limit equal to value of the function. Hence the function is continuous at x is equal to 0. And at x0 continuous, less than 0 continuous, greater than 0 continuous, that means what I should say, function is continuous everywhere. Hence the function is continuous everywhere, or we'll say for every real number. Next question please. Next question says fx is equal to sin x. This is the function we have. We have to show that this function is continuous everywhere. By graph I told you, but if this comes as a question, you show that this function is continuous everywhere. That means we should show continuous for all the real number. In this case, we will start with a certain general point. So we will say we start with this. Let x is equal to c belongs to some real number. C is any point anywhere we'll take, and that should belongs to real number. And at x is equal to c, we check the continuity. So first we go for left hand limit. We will say limit h approaches to 0 f of c minus h. Then we should write this as limit h approaches to 0 sine of c minus h. Now when you solve it, it will come out to be limit h approaches to 0. It will come sine c cos h minus cos c sine h. H approaches to 0. So this part is 0 because sine 0 is 0. Cos 0 is 1 only. So it will come out to be sine c. Same way when we go for right hand limit. Limit h approaches to 0 f of c plus h. What I should say in this case, limit h approaches to 0 sine c plus h. Sine c plus h, again the formula will be there, limit h approaches to 0 sine c cos h plus cos c sine h. And as h approaches to 0, cos 0 is 1 again, left is only sine c. And then we say f of c. F of c, if I take, it will come out to be sine c. So left hand limit, right hand limit, value of the function all come out to be same. Hence the function is continuous everywhere. Because it is a general point we have taken, it will be continuous everywhere. So we will say as it is continuous for c, belong to real number. So hence it is continuous everywhere. One more question. If fx is equal to greatest integer x, and now they are asking you just discuss the continuity of this function. Already we have done, this function is continuous everywhere except the integers. So at integers it is going to break. So we have to do this question this way. First we will start with this. Let c, or you take k, whatever you want to take, c belongs to some integer. Here this is c is one integer, this is c minus 1, this will be c plus 1. The integers below it will be c minus 1, c plus 1. So first we check at integral point what will happen, and then we'll go point which is not the integer. So I let c belong to integer. So at x is equal to c, when you do the discussion, what you will do? Left hand limit. It says limit h approaches to 0 f of c minus h, or I should say limit h approaches to 0 greatest integer c minus h. C minus h means somewhere here. And I told in greatest integer function, I told wherever you plot this on number line, whatever first integer will be my answer. So it will come out to be c minus 1. Same way when you go for right hand limit, it will come limit h approaches to 0 f of c plus h. Then I should write this as limit h approaches to 0 greatest integer c plus h. C plus h will be where? This is c plus h. When you take c plus h here, so what is the integer just below it? That will be c. So what I get here in this case, left hand limit not coming equal to right hand limit. So we should say fx is discontinuous at integral points. So first thing we have decided that this point is, this function is discontinuous at integral point. Now coming on second part, now we will take one point k somewhere here. This is point k I am taking, which is not an integer. So we will say now let, next part, let k is between c and c plus 1. or you can take k here also, or k can be taken here. That is your choice. But it should be between two integers. So let k is any number between two integers. So definitely it is not an integral value, it is between two integers. So at k, if I do, first left hand limit will take, which will come out to be limit h approaches to 0, f of k minus h, which you write as limit h approaches to 0, greatest integer k minus h. K minus h, where it will be, this is k minus h will be slightly less than this. You can't exceed c because this is very near to it, because as h approaches to 0. So you can't take a number which is beyond c. So that we should keep in mind. So k minus h. K minus h will be somewhere here. So what is the integer just below it? C. Same way when we go for right hand limit, we will write limit h approaches to 0, f of k plus h. And when you write this as limit h approaches to 0, greatest integer k plus h. K plus h will be somewhere here. K plus h is somewhere here. What will be the integer just below it? That will be c. First left integer is c. Then we go for f of k. K is here. The integer is again c. So what I get here in this case, left hand limit equal to right hand limit equal to value of the function. Hence, at non-integral point, it will be continuous. At non-integral points, fx is continuous. So finally, what you will say, you have already shown that at integer it is discontinuous. At non-integral point, it is continuous. So finally, what I should say in this case, hence fx is continuous everywhere except at integral points. Except at the integral points, this function is continuous. So fx is continuous everywhere except at integral points we have. So this will be the question they can give when fx is equal to greatest integer. So if some functions give in general, so we'll take some point c and x, then we can do the question. Now coming on next question. This is one function given, fx is equal to 1 when x is less than 3. Between 3 and 5, it is ax plus b. When x is coming greater than or equal to 5, we will say it is 7. And question says determine a and b if it is continuous everywhere. Function is continuous everywhere. You should find out what is value of a and b. Now in this case, the problem is if you want a and b, you should know certain point where the limit or continuity to be checked. In this case, 3 is the point where the definition has changed, and here at 5 its definition has changed. So we will say as the function is continuous everywhere, less than 0 it is constant, it will be continuous. Ax plus b, between 3 and 5 it is continuous, polynomial it is constant, again it is continuous. But at 3 and 5, as it changes its definition, we should check the continuity of the function. So we will say as function changes its definition at x is equal to 3 and x is equal to 5, we must check its continuity. So first we'll take at x is equal to 3. So when you take at 3 left hand limit, it will come out to be limit h approaches to 0, f of 3 minus h. 3 minus h means less than 3, your result is coming 1. When you go for right hand limit, it will be limit h approaches to 0, f of 3 plus h. 3 plus h means this will be the formula. So we will say limit h approaches to 0, a 3 plus h plus b. And when it is going towards 0, it will be 3a plus b. and then we go for f3. F3 will be taken here 1. So from this, what I get here, 3a plus b comes out to be 1. Okay, then we go at x is equal to 5. At x is 5, we will go for left hand limit first. Limit h approaches to 0, f of 5 minus h. When you go for 5 minus h, what it will come? 5 minus h will be this result. So a 5 minus h plus b, it will be 5a plus b. Then we go for right hand limit. It will be limit h approaches to 0, f of 5 plus h. Then what I should write, 5 plus h means more than 5, it is 7. And clearly 5a plus b is coming 7. So one equation is this, second equation is this, and now we have to solve them. So it will come 3a plus b is coming 1. When you solve it, it will be minus minus. So it will come 2a will be 6. So a is coming 3. And if a is 3, we can put the value. It will come 5 3s up. 15 plus b is 7. Yes or no? And here in this case, b comes out to be minus 8. So answer will be 3 and minus 8. So this way you are completing your questions on continuity. So here we have completed our continuity portion. In next one, I will be starting with inverse trigonometric function. That also is a function, so we are just going to continue with it. So next topic, we will be starting with inverse trigonometric function. And it will be again a very good chapter, slightly difficult to understand. Please be careful about this question, chapter.